Hey everyone, CB here from CJB Studios, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about a scene from one of my favorite Pixar films, Monsters, Inc., that had to be changed due to the events of 9/11. Now I know, I've already done a video expressing my thoughts on 9/11 on the day that it happened, but one thing that I briefly addressed in that video was how the film industry got affected by it, with one good example being the original teaser trailer for Spider-Man that got recalled due to the Twin Towers being in it. Well, Monsters, Inc. is actually another good example of that. And what scene is it that I'm going to be talking about? Well, it's none other than the Harryhausen's restaurant scene, specifically when the CDA are coming in to decontaminate it right after Mike and Sully evacuate it, carrying Boo with them back to their apartment. On the film's Blu-ray release, there's a bonus feature called Filmmakers Roundtable, where Pete Docter, Lee Unkrich, Bob Peterson, and Darla K. Anderson are doing a retrospective on the film itself. Near the end of the roundtable, they talk about the events of 9/11 and how it affected them working on the movie. At that point in time, the film's animation was already completed, and the only thing that they were working on at that point was the sound mix. The film was coming out in 60 days after the towers fell, and at one point, there was a scene in particular that had to be changed, and as already stated, it's the restaurant scene. While it is true that the scene itself involves the restaurant being contaminated by a plasma ball, that's not what was originally going to happen. Now, before I let the filmmakers themselves talk about it, I'm going to play the original version of the scene itself. That way you can have a better idea of what was actually going to happen.
Well, I don't think that thing could have gone any worse.
Witnesses are to be believed, there has been a child security breach for the first time in monster history.
Yep, that's right. Harryhausen's was originally going to be decontaminated by getting blown up in a fiery explosion instead of a plasma ball. And unfortunately, due to the 9/11 attack happening, the scene itself had to be changed at the last minute. But don't take my word for it. It's time to hear what the filmmakers had to say about it.
At the end of the sushi restaurant scene where Boo escapes from the restaurant, the CDA attack, they come in, the one guy says, all clear for decontamination, and as they're running away, Mike says, Sully, that could not have gone any worse. And the way it was in the original was
it's like a mushroom cloud in the
fireball of the restaurant being imploded, you know, which was hilarious. Like we showed it.
Oh, forever, yeah.
And then it was the most unfunny thing.
Right. Well, we ended up doing like a plasma kind of effects in the background.
Yeah.
But we got as far away from an explosion as possible because it was just so not something anyone
But even
wanted
then,
to
it was
see.
so uncertain. At the time, you're looking at it going, do we change it? Will this be funny again, ever?
So there you have it. That is one out of many other examples on how a movie in the film industry was affected by 9/11. Honestly, while I myself never understood why there was a plasma ball surrounding the restaurant as a kid, I now understand why they changed it after watching that roundtable itself.